scrapbook paper that isn't my favorite, and I'm also using magazine images to collage with to make these 2 accordion journals. Do you have paper in your stash that you don't particularly like? How about some magazines? Do you have any magazines hanging around? Well, here's an idea we started last week. This is the scrapbook paper that I have. It was originally our daughter's. It's got to be more than 10 years old. And I want to just give you an idea of what I did to change it a little bit. You can see how it has a bit of a sheen to it. And some of the colors changed significantly, some of it just a little bit. I used some Mod Podge, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But first, I used some distress spray that has a mica powder in it. And the reason I'm shaking it so vigorously is because there's a little marble in the bottom. And until you hear the marble moving, the mica hasn't been distributed. So there it goes down on the paper. And I'm not being chintzy with it either. I'm making sure to wipe the nozzle because after watching many videos and people suggest that it's possible for the spray nozzle to get clogged, apparently wiping it helps that it won't get clogged as much. We'll find out. There's 3 blue colors in this set that I purchased. One is Uncharted Mariner, one is Peacock feathers, I think, and I can't remember the third. I'll link it below so you know what they are if you're interested. Welcome, and welcome back. I'm Lori at Positive Thanks Living, and I'm really happy to have you here. I'm doing a deep dive into collage. I've made neutral masterboards that I used those homemade distress sprays on. That's a few videos ago. I made them into spring journals. And now I'm moving on to scrapbook paper and some magazines to do more collaging. These are mica powders. Now, I don't think it's actually named that. It's a Recollections brand, Michael's. But it has mica powder in it, so. And no fixative. That's why I have to mix them with the Mod Podge. I tried mixing the powder just with water, and when it dried on the paper, it just brushed back off on my fingers. So after doing a little more research and reading, I realized it needed a viscous liquid to be mixed with so that it would stick to the page. I have ordered something, it's called gum arabica, that should work. That's for next week. You can see it when I mix that. But for right now, the Mod Podge, it's a gluey substance that it works. And I'm going to spread it all over the page. This is a silver, and the other one is an iridescent. And I must say that I like the iridescent better than the silver. But, yeah, it works well. And I'm using a silicone spatula because I'm too lazy to pull out a brush. I don't want to have to wash the brush off. I'd have to go get a jar of water. And yeah, I haven't had a good experience with liquid in my craft room this last week. I spilled my drinking water, and that paper and water, no, they don't go together well. Not when it's an accident, at least. So, welcome. I'm Lori at Positive Thanks Living, and I play with paper. Right now, I'm doing a deep dive into collage, and that's what this playlist is all about. Here's another piece of that paper that, yes, it's pretty. Actually, for Easter, it might be nice, but it doesn't inspire me. Now, maybe you have paper in your stash that you don't find particularly inspiring. So maybe these techniques might work for you. Again, just using up that silver, and then I'll move on to the iridescent powder. How are you doing? Are you doing well? I hope so. I'm okay. We have spring-like weather. It's like being teased with spring here in North Carolina, where I am. And it's the season where all the trees, the pine trees, they have a yellow pollen that explodes all over everything. So when you're walking down the sidewalk or your driveway, it's as though you're walking through snow. You can see people's footsteps in the yellow pollen. It's extraordinary. But I'm not complaining. It's not snow. So that's what we're dealing with right now. I'm happy to have you here. If you're enjoying this, I would appreciate a like on the video. That really helps me, helps the channel. I enjoy making these videos, sharing with this community. It's a wonderful community. So supportive. I'm mixing the mica powder that's iridescent, and you're going to see when I put it down on the blue top part of this page, it changes the color. It's really interesting. It's an interesting effect. Now I'm going to take these pages and I'm going to die cut wildflowers out of them. They're dies by Tim Holtz, and they come from a couple of different sets. I've chosen just a few from each set that I thought would be interesting for this project. One of the accordion journals I'm using because I'm participating in a book study. So in this book study, I'll show you the book later, it has affirmations. So I've typed them up and I've cut them out, and I'm going to use them in the journal. And the other journal, I'm going to explore the idea of finding words or phrases in the magazines to cut out and use as inspirational statements that might even tell a story. So you'll see that in a little bit also. I want to use up what I have in my craft room right now. Maybe you came here because you saw me demonstrate my craft room organization. It's a work in progress, as we all are, right? This is my first time having a room that's dedicated to just playing with paper. It's lovely to have the freedom. I've crafted in an RV. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of stuff with me. We traveled full time for 5 years. My husband and I lived in an RV. So having a space that is, I can do whatever I want in it and leave stuff out, it's a blessing. It's a joy. It's definitely not something I take for granted. So this is what allows me to do a deeper dive into whatever grabs my interest. And I enjoy making videos to share with those that also enjoy crafting. See how that iridescent mica powder changed the blue color to almost a purpley color? It's really cool. And there are my die cuts, dies that I will then die cut the paper out of. I have two machines here. One is a texture machine, and the other is a Big Shot. The Big Shot I got more than 5 years ago, and it was belonged to somebody else, and she sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I really like the visceral experience of rolling the handle and, and then struggling to get the paper out of the dies. Oop, that was the texture thing. I've got them both beside me. I like the physical aspect of hearing the crack of the plates going through the machine, and sometimes I like the struggle of trying to get the paper out of the dies. It works quite well. And even though I have a Cricut machine that I am using and have used and will use, for some reason this old-fashioned way, physical way of doing it gives me a sense of satisfaction. As I talked about in the last video, the concept of a hit of dopamine from our effort-based activities, our effort-based hand motions, maybe that's what it is. So once they're all out and done, then I can use these items to begin decorating the two journals. Have you ever made an accordion journal before? Take a look at last video. I'll link it below, but it's also in this playlist. It's very simple. I've made a few of them, and they're useful. It's a different experience than the traditional junk journals with the sewn-in signatures. So the last journals I made, they were the traditional journal with the sewn-in signatures. So I just felt like a different experience. And plus, the idea of choosing images according to color from magazines works really well with the long expanse of an accordion journal. When I'm finished, I'll create a tie to go around the journal to hold it closed. And these ones I'll keep for myself because they're very, I'm choosing the things that I find particularly interesting and spark my imagination, especially the words. I liked that flower. That flower worked out well. What are you working on? What's on your craft table right now? Are you doing something new and different? Or is it a time period where you just sort of grab 10 or 15 minutes as you can and complete something eventually? Or build up your stash of things? I have this wooden box that you can see on the screen to the right that has 3 openings. It's a divided box in 3. And I find it very useful for keeping things I'm currently working on enclosed so that, I can move it from this space where I film over to often where I work. I have 2 desks that are side by side and windows directly in front of me. So I'm facing the window right now, and it gives beautiful light to be able to film. I think you can see everything okay. So you sort of, as you settle into a space, you find things that'll work for you. At least that's my experience. And the room isn't a large room. It's a bedroom size, small bedroom size, and it works. I feel very blessed. I'm thankful. Poking out the little piece of paper with that pokey tool. And carrying on. Do you do die cutting? I like what happens. I can use them in other things sometimes. Yeah. It's not very exciting, but I decided to continue to show you so that you would get a sense of how to change the papers. I find that the smaller the die cut, the less you notice the actual colors of the pages. And that's it. I do want to show you how texture can change the vision, the feel of the paper also. So I have this textural envelope. No, what's it called? Folder. There we go. Texture folder that I put through. I know I could do it in the Big Shot also, but the texture boutique thingy, it was our daughter's, so it works easier for me anyhow. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to use this page that I've created a texture on within, but I think it looks nice. Just add something interesting. And there we go. The fruit of the labor. I'm picking up the mat so I can show you how they shimmer. And on to the next thing. Now, I mentioned this in last video. These are 2 free items from as we were traveling through South Carolina. We stopped at the visitor center, a map. Beautiful colors on a map. If you're just looking at the colors, you know. And also the booklet that I'll show you. Now, making tags out of a map, I enjoy that. This is one that I made in 2020. Yeah. Wow. 5 years ago. That's something, huh? How fast time goes. And this is just the free book that they had at the Welcome Center. You can also send away by mail for these kinds of books for all of the different states. And the reason I'm looking through this now is not for the images, but rather for words that inspire me. I want to pull out words that create a story that means something to me. And I just tear them out using a ruler. Sometimes I'm more successful than other times. I like the phrase, discover unexpected wonders and connect with nature. And it's time to explore. They're almost anticipatory statements, aren't they? Making things for ourselves to lift up our spirits. That's a wonderful opportunity as we craft. I hope you're well. Are you doing okay? You know, if nobody's told you today, you matter. What you think, how you feel, what you do, it matters. So keep on going if you're feeling a little down right now. Keep on going. Yeah. Make something. Have a feeling of satisfaction by finishing a project. And if you're not real happy with it right away, that's okay. Take a break. Come back to it. It's funny, I was discussing the idea of a hit of dopamine, the effort-based sense of satisfaction, with another person that crafts. And I watched her eyes light up as though, yeah, that's true. And then she talked about, she's a very talented watercolor artist. And she talked about how she would become dissatisfied with some of the things she was doing. But so she'd take a break and walk away. And then when she came back and looked at it again, it wasn't as bad as what she thought it was. So I think a lot of us are that way sometimes. I know personally, I've learned that if I'm not happy with the first iteration, just to keep adding things. Eventually I'll like it. There, that statement works there, doesn't it? It's time to explore. So that's the start of the story that I'm beginning to put down on these images. And as it goes along, connect with nature's going to go in there. What other statements? Yeah. I enjoy the imagination it takes to put something like this together. I'm in awe of some of the collage artists I've watched, where they take little bits of images from magazines and make an entirely new picture out of just little bits. It blows my mind. Then there's others that change the magazine image by adding to it or taking away. Like the one thing that I think I'm going to try myself, I'm keeping a few magazine images aside to try this later on. If a room, an image of a room, has a window, they remove the window part, what you'd see out the window, and then change the view of the window to something else. So I think my skills may get there shortly. So I'm going to try that eventually. But right now, it's just about color. Choosing colors that match the scrapbook paper so that it's pleasing on both sides. I'm trying to fix, I cut off the P of, and I'm trying to fix it so that it'll go on. Here we go. Unexpected wonders. It's time to explore. And some of the words, as you see, I keep them just cut neatly. And this one I've decided that I'm going to tear it. I think I prefer the torn look. What do you think? Yeah. And gluing things. My fingers full of glue. I'm really thankful for wet wipes. The baby wipes. If it's not too dirty or gluey, I'll let them dry and then reuse them just by spraying some water on them. So they get more than one use, as long as they're not too filled with ink or glue. I've seen people when they spray, if they have a paper towel or a baby wipe, and it gets the color on it, and I've seen them use it later on in their crafts. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to. Unexpected. What's next? Connect with nature, but I don't like it with that color. I prefer it with the blue-green color. Yep. Have you ever tried anything like this? as I mentioned, I'm watching a lot of collage artists because I want to learn. I want to understand the concepts. One of them is using, so I have what it takes. So I'll give you a little hint. Using the baby wipe and some nail polish remover. Now I'll have to do this outside because the fumes would be too strong. But it takes away as much of the color as you want it to of the magazine image. And it's a really interesting technique. So that's on the agenda to try. But I'll have to figure out how to film outside because, yeah, I don't think I could do it in the room I'm in. The fumes would be too much. And I'm not opening the windows because then all the pollen comes in. The dream. I love the beach. I love water. For me, it's the dream. Do you have a favorite part of nature? A forest or mountains? Maybe the desert or great expanses of prairie? My husband loves mountains. And I am a water person. I love the water. So what you and I would choose from a magazine might be different. That's what makes, I guess, this crafting, this art so unique, because each of us are unique, uniquely made. So, my story's coming together. The words are starting to make shape, make sense. I picked the colors of the ice cream because they suited, but also because it looked yummy. This was from a book called Our State, which was for North Carolina. There we go. And here we start. What needs to go in the front? I choose living. Because it's all about how we live. It's time to explore unexpected wonders. Yeah, make it straight. I'm not always good at making things straight. Time to explore unexpected wonders. Connect with nature. You can feel the Creator's hand, the dream. Yeah, it's always playtime. And there we are. It's the concept anyhow. And on this side, I'm going to be making frames. That's next week. Now, I'm just going to show you a little bit of these affirmations. I did on the computer and printed and then cut out the affirmations from this book study. And I found the word steadfast in the book from the free book from South Carolina. And that is steady is my word for the year. So, steadfast as a form of the word steady. I want to be steady in seeking to be healthy. I want to be steady in my work schedule. I'm just making a video every week. I've been steady at that for a number of months. Yeah. So finding the word steadfast, that was wonderful. It meant something to me anyhow. And I think if you tried this exercise, just going through a magazine and picking out the words that appealed to you, it might surprise yourself. Those are the flowers from the spritzed and sprayed and Mod Podged pages that we cut out. And I'm trying to get the accordion to be in the right, so that when I begin the book, I can see the other side at the same time. You'll understand more. It makes sense next week. Because I want the two to be able to access both sides, and that it'll make sense. Here we go, putting down the word. And I won't do all of the affirmations, but it gives you a sense of how it can come together. And I did this all in one afternoon, so yeah, it doesn't take that long. Mind you, I've sped up this video because I do craft quite slowly, and I don't want to put you to sleep. Yeah. What else would you add to it? Any ideas? I'm trying to keep these accordion journals as flat as possible, so as little texture as possible. Eventually I'll create a closure for them when I'm all done, but I want to make them easy to, if I take them with me somewhere, or just to sit on the shelf, because these are for me. The spring journals that I completed, I put them up on Etsy. At this moment in time, they're still available. Okay, now we're going to put down the affirmation bits. And I mean, you could choose to create quotes for yourself. These just accompany the book study that I'm doing. A lot of people enjoy funny sayings and save them in their phone, in their notes section or their photo section. And I think often it would be nice to have them in hand, at hand. So printing them off would be fun to do too. This sort of accordion journal lends itself to keeping things. Ideally, choose things that will make you smile. We all need to be uplifted at times. Me too. Yeah. These are not easy times. I think the world is very uneasy. So anything we can do to give ourselves some peace, to raise our spirits, to have that hit of dopamine that finishing something with our hands gives us. Yeah, it's worthwhile effort. And don't think that you're ever being selfish doing this, especially if it makes you happy. Your family values when you're in a good mood. I can imagine that anyhow. You're contributing to your family's well-being by making yourself a happier person. And crafting, scientific studies have shown that crafting, making things, it helps with mood. It helps with mental health. So you're not being selfish spending time crafting, especially if you're using free items or things you already have. You're using them up, and if it helps you to come away from your craft table in a better mood, hey, that benefits everybody, including you. So it's my opinion, anyhow, for whatever it's worth. It's a different season for me of time as opposed to when my children were small. There wasn't that much time to craft when they were small. So here are the two journals and the two concepts. One is to create a story out of words in magazines. The other one is to save statements that mean something to you. And next week, I'm going to carry on and explore more decorating to make the paper more pleasing to my eye and also add to the stories on the magazine side. So take care. It's Lori at Positive Thanks Living. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.